Hello, welcome to Bentley's Backwoods Bushcraft. This is Richard. So I just was watching some YouTube videos, and I came across Sty North, one of his videos, and I've been watching Sty for a long time. He's an awesome guy. I can't say as much good about him as I would like. There's just not words for that. So I will try to remember to put a link to his channel below. If you guys don't know who Sty North is, get on over there and check his channel out. But anyway, he does Sty Stories, and for those of you who don't know, he sits down and just talks about mostly outdoors things and things that's happened to him in his life, but every once in a while he'll do a video that's requested. And he's got one on there right now that says reasons not to skydive. And I watched it. He's got some fantastic reasons not to skydive. Well, one second. This is a nope. This is a no animal zone, little girl. Sorry. Violet, she wants to come into my room, and I've just decided I'm not going to let any of the animals into this room. But anyway, he's got some legitimate reasons. Death being number one, I guess. But honestly, I can really talk about this topic because I've jumped out of many an airplane. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you find that surprising. Maybe you don't. But I've jumped out of a lot of aircraft. It was military oriented. Now he says skydiving. Now technically I see a difference between skydiving and jumping out of an aircraft the way I did it with a static line. Now paratroopers have a cord attached to the parachute. They hook it up to the aircraft, and then they jump out, and then they fall for about 4 seconds, and then that cord pulls the chute open, and hopefully your chute opens. I've got some stories about that one too. Hopefully your chute opens, and then down you go. You don't actually have to pull something, where you don't have to pull a cord to make your parachute open, and you don't sit there and free fall for 5 or 10 minutes. You get about a 5 second free fall. If you fall more than 4 or 5 seconds without your chute opening, yeah, you better have your hand on your reserve, and you better be pulling that thing. But anyway, I'm going to give you some great reasons to do it. So here we go. So like I said before, I've been in many airplanes, mostly military. I have done a lot of commercial flying, but I think I've probably, I know for sure that I've taken off with a lot of aircraft, but the majority of the aircraft that I've taken off with, I've never landed with. So yeah, I've always exited the aircraft before they landed. There's been a few, of course, traveling commercial aircraft and private aircraft that I've actually stayed in the aircraft when it landed, and that's a little different. I don't know. I personally prefer to jump out before the aircraft lands. It's just much funner that way. So anyway, some good reasons to do it. Now, this is my personal opinion. This is my experience, and I don't want to say that this is how everybody feels that jumps out of aircraft. But honestly, it's pretty much like everything else. The people that do it generally tend to have the same reasons for the most part that they do it. Just like, most people who become police officers have 1 or 2 specific reasons why they became police officers, and they all generally have that idea. People who jump out of airplanes generally do it for this very small amount of reasons, and we all generally do it for the same reason. For me, of course, like I said, I did it in the Army. 1st Battalion, 39th Field Artillery Airborne, Fort Bragg, North Carolina, 1992 to 1995. So anyway, I had 18 jumps, and this may sound bad, but I would never, until I broke my leg. So there you go, Sty. There's another reason. You were talking about death, but don't worry about the death. Worry about the maiming and living. That's what you got to worry about. If you die, you don't have anything to worry about. It's living after you fall. So anyway, my 18th jump, I broke my leg. And for one of the reasons Sty said, yeah, Mother Nature just said, okay, dude, you're done. She decided that the wind was going to pick up, and I was getting... And back then, I wasn't quite as heavy as I am now. I weighed like one... When I first joined the Army, I weighed 133 pounds. So yeah, I was jumping out of aircraft weighing 133 pounds, and believe me, it don't take much to move me at that weight. At the end of my career, I was about 165 pounds, and it was still all muscle. There was no fat on me at the time. But 165 pounds, I was still getting blown around. But real quick, talk about the last jump. So I get on the aircraft. It's windy as all get out anyway. We shouldn't have been jumping. But, what's Mother Nature? She ain't going to stop us, right? No. So we get in that aircraft. We take off. We're flying around. And doors open. We go through the procedure. We're hooked up. I'm at the door. I'm ready to go. Go, go, go. Ram, out I go. So I'm out. My chute opens. I'm coming down. And everything was perfect until I got to about 150, 200 feet off the ground. And the wind just started picking up and just throwing me around. And instead of coming down and doing a PLF, which I like to call poof, because that's what you do. Poof. So anyway, I got set, instead of coming down this direction, I got tilted this way, and I came down like that. And snapped my leg. Actually, my ankle. I broke my ankle. So that was my last jump. And anyway, but still, it was fantastic. It was fun, and I would do it again. Absolutely. So anyway, one other instance. I'll tell you one more instance where I got hurt, or could have got hurt. This instance, I really almost died, and I thought I was dead, to be totally honest. This instance here, I knew I was dead. I mean, I was ready for it. There was nothing in my head except I'm about ready to die. And I'll be honest, I was excited for it. I was ecstatically excited for it. It was a thrill. So, of course, we have people going out both sides, left and right sides, like the aircraft's right here. We're going out this way, right? So, and I don't remember which side I was on. But, of course, the guy's going off on both sides here. Well, as I go out and the other guy goes out, what usually happens is you just whoosh this way, right? No, I was a little skinny guy at the time, and I got sucked under the plane. Like this here. This guy comes out. Wow! I hit him. I start rolling and spinning like this. Now, this all takes place in a matter of about 4.5 to 6 seconds. About 4 to 6 seconds. So, wham, I hit the guy. He flies off this way. I didn't see him again. And I shoot up like this. My chute opens like this here, down here, and I get wrapped up in the suspension lines, right? So my leg is all tangled up. Everything is jacked up. And I, like this, well, when I flip back over, my chute, which should have been open like this, was collapsed and was just kind of open just a tad bit like this. So I'm falling, instead of falling this speed, I'm falling this speed, right? So we're always told after about 4 seconds or so, if your chute hasn't opened, look around. If you see someone else and you're falling faster than they are, pull your reserve. Well, I didn't see anybody, and I knew I was falling really fast. My hand goes to my reserve, right? And I'm just getting ready to pull it right then and there, right? Which I should have done. I should have done it. But as soon as I grab that reserve, my chute goes and opens completely. Now, I'm about 75 to 100 feet off the ground at this point when my chute completely opens fully. So I'm moving a little quicker than I need to be. And so honestly, if I would have had pulled that reserve, which I should have done, That was the procedure. But if I had pulled that just a split second faster, that reserve would have shot off, wrapped up with my main line, and it would not have opened and I would have died, plain and simple. So I was that close to death, and I knew it, but I was still excited about it. So anyway, those were my only two harrowing negativities, and I don't consider them negative. Honestly, I don't. Both of those were extraordinarily exciting experiences in my life, and I mean, honestly, I'll tell you straight up front, I loved them. I loved it. It was fantastic. But all my other jumps went off pretty much without any problem whatsoever. The excitement, the thrill, the sense of power and control that you feel when you're up there is off the chart. I can't even explain the enthusiastic control and power you feel. Now, I'm saying you feel that. I'm telling you that you don't have control. You don't have it. Now, with people who parachute and they skydive, they have more control over their chutes than paratroopers, because our chutes aren't that controllable. So, you're supposed to pull on your risers, and it's supposed to move you. They don't really, no. So anyway, the sense of control that I felt, I knew was not real, but it was still there. And I don't want to offend anybody who's super religious, because I'm not. But I will tell you this much, for me, honestly, jumping out of aircraft made me feel godlike. And that's the truth. It made me feel godlike. So, I don't want to offend anybody who has, a belief in deity that takes that in a negative manner. I'm not trying to say that in a negative manner. I'm just trying to express how it made me feel. So anyway, that's how it made me feel. I tell everybody, and I truly mean this, I think everybody should jump out of at least one aircraft in their life. It will change your life. It will change your life. And of course, maybe it'll change your life for the negative. I don't know. There was one time that there were enough of low flying clouds that I actually got to go through clouds, because when we jumped, we didn't jump halo, which, ODF, way up there. We jumped at 1,200 feet down to 800 feet. So we jumped in that 1,200 to 800 feet. So I did jump as low as 800 feet off the ground. Now, you'll look up at an aircraft that's flying 800 feet in the air, and you'll say, oh, that doesn't look very high, and you may even think, well, 800 feet isn't too high for an aircraft to be flying. Now, you're standing in that aircraft looking out the door like this, right? You're looking out the door like this, and you look down. 800 feet is pretty high. So anyway, so my range of jumping was all static line. I did all static line jumps, and I jumped from 1,200 feet to 800 feet. That was my range of jumping. The highest I've ever jumped is 1,200 feet, which we did in jump school. And the reason we jumped at 1,200 feet in jump school is to give us that extra few seconds of survivability to allow us to think if we needed to. Because when you're new at it, there are things we have to do, even though we don't necessarily have to pull our own chutes. There's a lot of stuff that you have to do or be prepared for or to look out for when you're jumping out of an aircraft. And it just gave us that extra few feet to do that. When I got to my regular unit, we jumped mainly at 800 feet. So anyway, pure adrenaline and excitement is a fantastic reason to be jumping out of airplanes. I mean, that was honestly my reason. And to be totally honest, that's most people's reason to do something like that, is for the excitement, the thrill of it. I mean, honestly, what other reason is there to jump out of a perfectly good aircraft other than just, the excitement to say you've done it? So I have jumped out of 18 aircraft, and the only reason I didn't jump out of more was because I broke my ankle. And I had 7 months left in my unit, and then I was getting out, and I saw no reason to re-injure that by jumping one more time. So, yep, 18 jumps. That's probably 18 more than most people. I'm the only person that I know, and I'm sure there's plenty of others, but I'm the only person that I know that's jumped out of airplanes and fought in cages. So I think I've had some pretty adrenaline exciting. I used to be an adrenaline junkie, to be totally honest. Probably a lot more than I am now, but at least I can look back at it and have fond memories. So to Sty, I want to tell you, you have very legitimate and perfect reasons not to do it. Honestly, I think I have the ultimate reason to do it, but it does honestly take a very special person, to actually do that. So I have to say, I love your channel, Sty. You know that. I was very enthusiastic to see that posted on there, and as soon as I saw it, I had to watch it. And as soon as I got done watching it, I told myself I had to get in here and I had to do a video. Other than the excitement and thrill level of it, I mean, what else can I say? I mean, there's plenty of reasons not to do it. I mean, it'll kill you. I mean, come on, it'll kill you. And I know that. You were talking. When I jumped, my jumps were on Fort Bragg. We did have woods we had to contend with. We had power lines we had to contend with. We had cactuses, and I can say that for sure because I landed in some before. And we did have water that we needed to contend with. We are trained for those contingencies, and as you were saying, if you land in water, we have procedures for that, and they'll either work or they won't. I mean, come on, yeah, they'll either work or they won't. But if they don't work, then you don't have anything to worry about. That's what I got to say. If I would have died on that jump, that I believe truly could have killed me. And I honestly believe I was within seconds of death at that point. Truly, honestly believe I was within seconds of death. And I was very calm. I was very peaceful. Didn't bother me a bit. I was ready. And I'll be honest, and I don't want to freak anybody out, but I was enthusiastic about it. I was excited. This was an experience I had never had before, and I was ready for it. I was ready for it. Didn't happen. I think Mother Nature said, look at this, and this is what could happen, and this is what I could do to you, but I'm not going to. So that's that. So anyway, I say, personally, I think everybody needs to jump out of one aircraft, at least one. And I'm not talking about 8 feet off the ground when it's sitting on the tarmac. Guys, take off on that thing, open those doors up, and hurl yourself out with a parachute. You'll either thank me or you'll hate me for the rest of your life. So thank you for watching Bentley's Backwoods Bushcraft, and enjoy the outdoors, even if it's just your own backyard.